Ever get that feeling like when that cloud bill arrives, it's written in some kind of secret code? You're definitely not alone.
It can definitely feel that way sometimes.
Today, we're cracking the code. We're doing a deep dive into unit economics for cloud computing. It's like your decoder ring, right? To
Yeah.
really get where your money's going in the cloud and make it work for you.
Absolutely.
So whether you're, I don't know, knee-deep in a cloud migration project or just trying to keep up with the latest tech jargon at work, maybe you're just curious about how this whole internet money thing works.
Right.
This deep dive is for you. And lucky for us, we've got a real expert on board to guide us.
Happy to be here.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. What are unit economics in this cloud world? Why should anyone who even touches technology care about this stuff?
It's all about, well, you know how cloud spend can seem kind of vague sometimes? Unit economics is about tying that spending to actual value for your organization.
Right.
Like building a bridge between the tech stuff and the actual business side of things.
Like that, a bridge.
Yeah.
So it's not just about freaking out when you see the total cost at the end of the month.
Exactly. It's not just about the total.
It's more about understanding what the cost per something meaningful, like we do with groceries, right?
Yeah.
You look at cost per meal to see if it makes sense.
Precisely. You wouldn't just look at the grand total on your grocery receipt, right? You'd break it down. Cost per meal, what you're getting out of those ingredients.
Right. No, those expensive berries really worth it?
Exactly. And then you can spot places to be smarter with your spending. Unit economics and cloud computing, it's the same idea, but applied to, your servers and databases and all that. Figuring out the cost for whatever matters most to your organization.
Okay, that's making it way clearer.
Yeah.
But give me a real-world example of this cost per thing in action.
Sure. Let's say you're an e-commerce company, right? A vital unit economic metric for you would be cost per transaction. So basically, figuring out how much you spend on cloud resources for every single purchase on your platform.
Okay, so you take your total cloud cost, divide it by the number of transactions, and boom, you get your cost per transaction.
Exactly. And that tells you a lot, right? You can start to see if your cloud infrastructure is efficient.
So it's not about being, a Scrooge McDuck about it, just pinching pennies. It's more about knowing where the money's going and then using that knowledge to make smarter decisions overall.
You've got it. And this isn't just for e-commerce either. For a SaaS platform, it might be cost per customer or even cost per active user. The key here is finding the metrics that really click with your specific business goals.
So if a business is all about user engagement, then cost per active user is their jam.
Exactly. We actually spoke to this one company. They were obsessed with user engagement. And by using unit economics, they found out this feature they thought was driving engagement. It wasn't.
Oh, no. What happened?
The cost per engaged user for that feature, it was through the roof. So they were able to use that data, rethink the feature, and put their resources toward areas with a much healthier cost per value ratio.
Wow, that's huge. It's amazing how seeing the numbers laid out like that can really change your whole perspective.
Totally.
It's not just some abstract idea anymore. It's a real tool for positive change. So let's say a company is listening to this and they're like, sign me up. How do they go from 0 to hero with implementing unit economics? Is there a guidebook?
Well, it's more of a journey, It's not something you achieve overnight.
Right, got to crawl before you can run and all that.
Exactly. And luckily, there's the FinOps framework. It has this super helpful maturity assessment model.
I've heard of that.
It basically maps out the typical stages companies go through on their unit economics journey.
So start slow and steady. That's the key takeaway.
Absolutely. The first phase is crawl, which is all about dipping your toes in the water, tracking basic metrics like total cloud cost against, say, revenue or customer growth, just to get a feel for things.
And we're back. Still digging into the fascinating world of unit economics. My brain is buzzing with new ideas already.
It's definitely a lot to unpack.
We've covered the what and even the why, but now it's time for the really fun part.
Yeah, a fun part, absolutely.
Like the big aha moments where unit economics goes from, just a cool concept to completely changing the game.
That's what we're here for.
So give me those aha moments. What are some surprising wins that companies find when they start using unit economics to really dissect their cloud spending?
Oh, there are tons. One of the most common ones, and it's kind of funny, is that it really shines a light on all those hidden inefficiencies.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Companies often have those what we call zombie services just hiding out, cloud resources they're paying for, but not actually using to their full potential. It's like that gym membership you forgot you had.
Oh, I definitely know that feeling.
It's that, but on a much bigger scale.
Wow. So you're basically uncovering hidden costs you didn't even know you had.
Exactly. And this discovery, it often leads to a really fundamental shift for companies.
Oh.
It goes from just being about cutting costs to actually creating value.
Ooh, tell me more about this whole value creation thing.
It's all about going beyond just like slashing your spending. It's about understanding where you can actually optimize those costs to squeeze every bit of value out of every dollar you put into the cloud.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So it's strategic. It's not just about being cheap.
Exactly. Making those choices that boost your efficiency and your growth, it's a win-win. And here's another gem. Unit economics. It can really help build that culture of shared responsibility.
Now we're talking. Shared responsibility is like my favorite thing. What's the connection?
When your whole team is on the same page, right? Your developers, your product managers, your leadership team, they're all looking at the same data. They all get how their choices impact the bottom line. And that creates this amazing sense of ownership and accountability around cloud costs.
It's like we're all in this together. Let's be smart about it.
Exactly.
And we're back for one last victory lap around unit economics.
The home stretch.
We've got the what down, explore the why, even uncover those aha moments that make this whole concept so powerful.
It's been quite a journey.
Before we officially wrap things up, though, I want to leave everyone with something to really chew on.
Ooh, I like where this is going. Hit us with it.
So you're out there in the world, maybe even starting to apply some of these unit economics ideas at work, right? Here's the question. How do you think understanding these metrics can change the way your team sees cloud computing altogether? Like, can it go from being this, I don't know, scary cost center to a real strategic advantage?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because we often focus so much on, oh man, how much is this costing? But it's about shifting that perspective to, hold on, how much value are we actually creating here?
Exactly. Instead of just stressing over the bill, you're empowered to make smarter choices, use your resources wisely, and make sure all those tech investments actually line up with, those big picture business goals.
Nailed it. And that's where, like we've talked about, the FinOps framework can really help guide you. Remember those crawl, walk, run stages we mentioned?
Oh yeah, let's dig into those a little deeper.
So picture this, the crawl phase. It's all about finding your footing, getting a handle on the basics. You're tracking basic metrics like what's your total cloud cost? Maybe even breaking that down by team, then comparing it to your overall performance.
Okay, so it's about laying the groundwork, understanding where you are right now.
You got it. And then you move into walk. Things get a little more refined here. Teams start taking ownership of their own cloud usage, aligning those metrics with their specific goals. So maybe your development team tracks cost per feature they launch.
Well, the marketing team is looking at cost per lead, right?
Exactly. It's getting more tailored and strategic. Then we hit run. This is where unit economics becomes second nature. It's like ingrained in every decision you make.
Wow, that's the dream.
Imagine, before you launch a single new product or feature, you already know exactly how it'll impact your cloud costs, how it'll contribute to the bottom line. That's the power of fully embracing unit economics.
It's like having a crystal ball, but for your cloud budget. No more surprises, just really informed strategic decisions all the time. This has been an incredible deep dive, by the way. Thank you so much for demystifying unit economics and dropping all this knowledge on us.
Happy to help.
And for everyone listening, remember, knowledge is power. Understanding this stuff, it might be the key to unlocking your organization's full potential in the cloud. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep on diving deep into those fascinating topics.